So today we are going to look at a chart for marriage failure and also throat cancer. This is the chart of Frances Farmer. She was an American actress and she was divorced. She got married thrice. So her relationship failed twice in her life. Now let's see her chart. This is her chart. As you can see, she was a Leo ascendant person. Leo ascendant person with the ascendant lord Sun placed in the second house. And Sun is also her Dara And Dara represents the spouse. And Sun is conjuncting Mercury. And both Sun and Mercury are combust. Let's look at the combustion. As you can see here, Mercury is combust, means both Sun and Mercury were almost at the same degree at the time of her birth. And Sun is a Darakarka. Sun is ascendant lord, so Sun represents her, and Mercury represents the spouse because Mercury is second lord. Second lord always represents the spouse. So when there is combustion, there is always a chance of separation or divorce because the ascendant lord and the second lord are combust with each other. So when two planets are combust, they repel each other. They do not go along with each other, and so separation takes place. I always consider the second lord as the spouse because seventh house is just the house of relationships. Seventh lord represents the relationships but not the spouse. Spouse is represented by the second lord. So this is one of the reasons for divorce as there is combustion. Now let's look at other things too. Now we can also look at the Kal Chakra chart with respect to Saturn. Now why we are looking Kal Chakra chart with respect to Saturn? Because Saturn is the seventh lord. First of all, let's look at the Kala Chakra chart with respect to Rahu. So this is the Kala Chakra chart. We will make the reference point as Rahu. So this Indra power is the reference point. We have changed this to Rahu. It simply means if Rahu is placed in Purvabhadra nakshatra in the 8th house, then what result it will produce. For example, as you can see here, Rahu is placed in the 8th house in Purvabhadra nakshatra. Now, this Kala Chakra chart says that if Rahu is placed in the 8th house in Purvabhadra nakshatra, then Mars and Saturn falls under Yama death. Now, this Yama death is highly malefic category. Planets lose their significance or give bad results when they fall under Yama death. Rahu in 8th house in Purvabhadra will get her obsessed about dancing and acting. This is because Purvabhadra is a dual nakshatra. In dual means it's a dual nakshatra, it's a nakshatra of two-faced man or two-faced person. A person who has two faces. From inside he or she is something else and from outside he or she is something else. Actors and actors are two-faced only because acting is all about, in the real life they are not actors, but when they do acting they become something else. So Purvabhadra is the major nakshatra for actors and actresses, and this woman was an actress, American actress. Also Purvabhadra is ruled by the sign of Pisces, and Pisces represents the feet. And feet, when we talk about feet, the dancing comes in mind. So, and and actresses and actors, they need to dance. So she was obsessed about dancing also because her Rahu was placed in the Bhaga Nakshatra in the sign of Passes. This is a sign of dance. So now if Rahu is in Bhadra Nakshatra, it simply means if she is getting obsessed about acting and dancing, then Saturn will fall under Yamadat. And since Saturn is the seventh lord, so her relationships are going to fail. Why? Because this Kala Chakra chart is telling that if she is going to dance and do acting, then her relationships are going to fail. And that is the reason her relationships failed. And she was divorced twice or thrice. Also Mars falling under Yamadat. So Mars is sexuality. So the person become immoral in sex when Mars falls under Yamadat. And this actress was immoral because she was also having extramarital affairs. And Mars represents our sexuality. When you become immoral in sex, then you lose morality. There is no morality, and then it goes to extramarital affairs. So this is the major reason that she faced divorce problems in her life. Now let's look at, also we can look at the Lord of 64th Navams. As you can see, her 64th Navams is Saturn, and Saturn is seventh Lord. Seventh house is the house of relationships, and so this is also indicating problem in relationships or marriage because 64 norms is always negative. It always indicates something negative that is going to come in the life, and that is indicated by the 64th norms. And so this is also confirmed. The divorce could also be confirmed from the 64th norms. Also, we can look at the Latta. So, what is Latta? Latta is a planetary kick from one planet to another while in transit. So, just right click on Saturn. This is Sarvatobhadra Chakra. Just right click on Saturn and highlight Latta on this star. Now see, this Venus is giving Latta to Saturn. It means Venus is kicking Saturn. Saturn, Latta of Venus is fifth backward in the anti-clockwise direction. So we will count from Venus 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now right click and highlight Latta on this star. As you can see, Saturn is facing Latta from Venus. Saturn is the seventh lord, and Venus is a planet of relationships. And so Saturn facing kick or Latta, it means the relationships are going to fail because Venus is a planet of relationships and Venus is giving Latta to Saturn. And this is another reason for marriage failure and divorce. Now we can look at the throat cancer. She died of throat cancer. She died, major disease was cancer throat, and she died of throat cancer. Death by disease 1st August 1970. She died of throat cancer on 1 August 1970. So let's look at the dasha. So in August she was reigning on 1st August 1970. She was reigning Jupiter Mahadasha, Venus Antardasha, and Mercury period. Now Jupiter is falling under Mrityu Bhaga. Let's look at the Mrityu Bhaga. Distances from Mrityu Bhaga. Here you can see her fifth house falls under Mrityu Bhaga. Mrityu Bhaga, any house when fall under Mrityu Bhaga, it gives bad results from that house. Fifth house is Jupiter, her Jupiter is placed in the fifth house. So Jupiter, fifth house falling under Mrityu Bhava means the stomach has the problem, Navi Chakra has the problem. Because Jupiter controls the Navi Chakra. And the sign of Sagittarius is also about the Navi Chakra. And fifth house is also the stomach or Navi. So she was suffering from, see here, just when in 1969, 28 March 1969, when a Jupiter Mahadasha started, then all the problems started. And just after the start of Jupiter Mahadasha, she died in just within the next 1 year she died because Jupiter was falling under Mrityu Bhava. So sorry, fifth house was falling under Mrityu Bhava and Jupiter is placed in the fifth house. So this was the major reason because she had a major problem of Nabi Chakra. Let me show you. This is the Nabi Chakra. You can visit this website sahajayogabengal.com Nabi Chakra. Here you can see that Nabi Chakra catches means the Jupiter goes bad when you take alcohol and drugs. And she was taking lot of alcohol and she was also a smoker. She used to smoke a lot and taking drug and taking alcohol a lot. It has been mentioned in her biography, so you can read the biography of Francis Farmer. And that is the reason her Nabi Chakra was catching. And so Jupiter was spoiled. And during Jupiter Mahadasha, she faced the disease of throat cancer. Now, during Jupiter Mahadasha and Venus Antardasha, now we can look at Kala Chakra chart with respect to moon. When we want to look at the health, we should always look to Kala Chakra chart with respect to moon. So with respect to moon, her Venus falls under Yama death. So on the mental level, moon is on the mental level, Venus falls under Yama death. Venus is in Asalesha Nakshatra. Asalesha Nakshatra is actually a very, it is a nakshatra of drugs and medicines and obsessions. It means all the negative things are seen from Asalesha Nakshatra, especially drugs and alcohol. The person gets obsessed with alcohol and all these drugs when Venus falls in Asalesha Nakshatra. And Venus is the drink. Cancer, Asalesha falls in the sign of Cancer, and Cancer is a sign of drinks. And that is the reason she was obsessed with drinking, because Venus is in Asalesha Nakshatra in the sign of Cancer. And so her mind, on the mental level, she was obsessed with drinking and alcohol. And that is the reason Venus was spoiled. Her Venus was spoiled. Also, we can look the Kala Chakra chart with respect to Saturn. Now, if you just right click and select show Yogini and Mrityu, see here Mrityu is falling in Aradra. It simply means if Saturn is in Mrigashira Nakshatra in the 10th house, then Mrityu falls under Aradra, and since Mars is placed in the Aradra Nakshatra, so Mars is getting afflicted, highly afflicted. Mars is in Aradra Nakshatra. Aradra, as you can see, it's a Gemini sign. Aradra is a Nakshatra, Gemini. And Gemini is the throat. Throat is seen from the Gemini. And since Mars falls under, Mars is suffering from Yogini and Mrityu in the sign of Gemini, so this is giving throat cancer. And that is the major reason she suffered from throat cancer. You can see that Yogini and Mrityu is most important. When any planet suffers from internally, Yogini and Mrityu gives internal problems, such as within the system, such as chakras and diseases. All these are given by seen from Yogini and Mrityu, and our Mrityu falls in Aradra Nakshatra. And Aradra, Mars is placed in Aradra Nakshatra, and that is the reason she suffered from throat cancer. And so, as you can see, she died during Jupiter, Mahadasha, and Venus, Antardasha, and Mercury period. And Mercury rules the Aradhara Nakshatra. Mercury is the throat. Mercury is rules the natural significator of the third house. And third house is throat, hands. All these are represented by third house. So this is it for in this video. Please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.